It's Friday, April 4th, 2025. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to, what is this, April? April. Yeah, now it's April. I don't even know what the months are. But let's start off April by telling you that if you'd like to support our show, you can go to supportourshow.com. Very simple. By the way, support our show, support the show, when I thought I was a genius and realized I just couldn't spell. That used to work. But I did not pay to renew it because that would just be paying money to remind myself I'm a moron. So I let that lapse. On the off chance anybody actually used that as a joke. That joke is now dead. As well as, the domain's somewhere. If you want it, have at it. But no, now it's just supportourshow.com. It's the only one that works. I don't think anybody actually used that other one, but I had paid for a year like a dope, so it worked for a year because I'm a dope. So if you did, switch over to the new one, which I also put in the comments for every show on the off chance that, you want to make sure my spelling is correct. That helped me verify it. So it is in the comments as well. And we are continuing to post things on our Patreon on every tier. So again, none of this stuff costs you any money. I'm not looking to, make a cash grab on anything like this. It's mostly because YouTube and the companies that really run the show over there suck. For example, Disney. Fuck Disney, and let me tell you why.
Did Disney do something recently to you?
So now this is in the future, but Doug and I are currently in the middle of recording our series review for the Alex Garland series Devs, which is it's an FX show, which means it's a Hulu show, which means it's a Disney show.
Yeah.
Now, in other reviews.
Is Devs on Hulu? Can you watch it through Hulu?
It is. Oh, no, it's still on there. Yeah, it's still on there. Yep, still able to watch. 8 episodes. So a nice short run, no continuation, one and done, complete story, which is great. So I did the first edit, and before now, I've had stuff blocked on YouTube, but the way it typically works is they block when you have video and audio that play for more than, I think, 20 to 30 seconds. It may even be shorter than that. So basically, I have a thing that comes up that says, sorry, you can't see this. If you'd like to see it, go over to Patreon. You can see it uncensored there on those parts. Yeah. So I uploaded the Devs one with the same blocks. And I actually cut down on the clips I use because I thought, well, I want us to be talking because it's so much based in philosophy and morality. It's more about that than the visual. I mean, the visuals are beautiful, but you don't need as many clips with it. Yeah. So I only had, I think, 3 clips per 2-episode review so far. I've only had the 3 clips total. I think one from one episode.
Did you anger the Disney overseers?
Well, but I did have a bunch where we were talking about visual things, but no audio because you didn't need to hear it. I was just like, oh, the shot that they did is really wonderful and it's creepy, it's weird. I would just have a short clip of that. And so I only blocked the clips where it was video and audio, like every other one. They nuked it for every single frame of anything that appeared from the show.
Wow.
Everything. So I had to redo all the exports. And not only that, I redid my little blocked image to specifically say Disney sucks in nice, bold fucking text. Because Disney fucking sucks.
I had you just reminded me, I had an interesting thought the other day. And it ties back to this. Which was the idea of, how there are lots of people who really want to put technology in their heads, right? And this is a classic cyberpunk idea, the jack port, all that stuff. And I was thinking about this recently, the diabolical nature of corporate control and profit and the lengths that they would go. And I was thinking about how I wouldn't put it like if past a company to basically like find a way to go. If you had software in your head of trying to go in and actively remove something in such a way from your head that you don't even remember that it was there in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Like, to put it in like a context you don't understand, it's like you bought a bunch of music, right? But then iTunes lost the right to that music, so they were like, "Shit, we don't want to get people to get annoyed with us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull that song from your head while you're doing a sync, and we're gonna remove it from your memory completely, so that you don't even remember that you bought the song and or listened to it." And I was like, that's kind of extreme. And then I was like, no, I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
I think that's exactly the kind of future that we're getting into. Where they just start wiping... What's that?
The idea that people want this stuff, they really have not thought it through, because that's the beginning of it. Imagine...
Yeah.
And there's really no reason not to think this, is that you went to somebody's party and you were doing karaoke and you were singing an unlicensed song. And they just shut down your ability to sing.
Shut your fucking mouth down.
and this is probably what would actually happen.
You cannot continue singing this song. You don't have the copyright. Your mouth has been shut off.
What would probably be more realistic, because then people would start ripping things out of their heads and start burning companies down. Yeah. No, instead what they'll do is they'll send you a bill in the mail.
Only if you remember. I mean, this is the thing. If you don't remember that it was there in the first place, depends on what it is.
I mean, I guess you could theoretically wipe everybody who was present, because people will remember it and they'll say, "Oh man, you sang that really well," and you'll say, "Sang what?"
What?
And you would start to put together that you had gaps.
Yes, hopefully you would. Yeah, certain people.
So I mean, but if everybody at the party starts losing an hour of their life, they're going to start noticing that.
It's a weird future concept. Like, how far does the technology go? Because people have these dreams of like, like Musk is one of these assholes. It's like, we need to get a chip in there right away. And like when I was younger and I didn't think about this stuff, I was like, yeah, technology, upload all the information you want to your head. But the fear is that yes, the second you create that bridge, things can come in and things can come out. And with the degree that they're tracking us on everything that we do now, trying to build these giant maps of how people perform and how they can be manipulated. No, you are never, ever getting technology in my head. Ever. There's no firewall good enough. Unless, like I said, it's some kind of like... No, not even, because anything you jack into your head, it's like, it's just too dangerous. It's because even if you have like a dead terminal where it's like you're not connected to Wi-Fi, you're not connected to the internet, just the act of trying to upload any kind of data or information to your head, you create the possibility that it could be it could have some kind of worm or something in there. It could be corrupted.
Yeah, so, I think the real future is going to be wearables. It's not going to be implants.
Yeah,
I really do think that's going to be it.
Because wearables are safer.
Well, because in other words, you could have implants, but they would have to be endpoints, or they would have to be dead terminals, where the thing that's on your head is not actually, it doesn't have a chip in it. All it does is provide an interface to your eyes, right? Yeah. So then you would basically click the device in there and use it to your eyes, but then you would pull that off, and all you have is literally just a port. It's just a port.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's going to be about trying to figure out how these technologies can stay safe.
That's the only way it's going to work. Yeah. So I think it's not going to be Neuralink.
But it's like, no, I don't trust any of this stuff.
Well, no,
and that's funny because
that will be the thing.
I would love it if somebody would try to write 80s cyberpunk with today's concepts of technology. Do you know what I mean? Like, reading old cyberpunk now feels very quaint, because you're like, okay, it's so much, it's so much more dangerous than we ever gave it thought.
I don't think it would actually be all that different. The difference is going to be that there's going to be a paragraph where they talk about the fact that, okay, let's say it was Neuralink, that I don't know, what's a cyberpunk guy's name? Stiletto went down to the port market at the docks, and went to his old buddy, Jackknife. And Jackknife said, hold on a minute, I got to burn out the corporate ice on this thing and reroute it so it doesn't require an internet connection. After 15 minutes of soldering, the smell of molten metal in the air, he handed him a brand new earpiece and said, there you go, completely sealed off and isolated. Congratulations, you're off the grid, baby, or something. I mean, I'm not a writer, but maybe something like that. But that's all it would be, is you would just have to break the connection to the corporate thing. The technology would be intact.
When I was trying to figure out how to write a near future thing, I remember having to sit there and think, Jesus, how do you get around? How do non-tech people, what technology would they need to get around this level of surveillance? And I came up with these glasses that they wear that essentially put out a signal so that when you're being recorded, it tells the cameras that it either makes you disappear or it makes you look like somebody else. So it's almost like the X-Men effect.
Yeah, but you can't rely on that, because the problem is anything that's not a physical kill switch cannot be trusted. Because it's the same idea as when, initially they had the idea that, okay, the light will come on when something is happening. Well, then the spy agency just wrote software that told the light not to come on.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't think it was on. So it has to be a physical thing.
The doctor's offices that were talking about how, like, oh, we just mute the mic when we have patients talking to us or something like that. And they were like, no, that doesn't shut it off, guys. The speaker is still there listening.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. So it would have to be more like, I was telling you about the framework laptop,
story,
right? Where you could actually take the thing out.
In the story,
the
they just used
chip.
the glasses so that they could get around in public without being spotted for who they were.
But anything that relies purely on software is not, you cannot trust it, period. Unless you wrote the software yourself and, did the flashing of the firmware and everything from top to bottom. If you do everything, then you can trust it. If there's any step you're not present for, you must rely on a physical switch. You have to. I mean, that's the thing, is there are cameras, webcams, other cameras, and if they don't have a switch, some people will not use them. Meaning like a shade that you can push over. I use stickers.
I like the idea that if in this story, nobody, because they have this technology that enables them to kind of thwart electronic surveillance, and people are so dependent on electronic surveillance, no one's physically looking for them. I love that idea that it's like, if no one's looking for you because they think the technology has got it covered. So you can do a lot of stuff that normally you wouldn't be able to do if people were actually physically looking for you as well.
Well, there is a way to write that story, and the way that I would do it is you would have it in a future where they've relied on the software so long that no one has the knowledge of hardware anymore, and so
no one thinks or even thinks to do it because the technology does it.
Well, sure. Yeah, basically, it's the same idea as trying to reinvent the telephone.
That's happening now. I mean, you are still a type of person that has a thought process that goes beyond the internet because there wasn't an internet when you grew up. But there's plenty of people where, like, that's just it. And when the internet's gone, they're like, well, what do we do now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's the whole, people forget what an encyclopedia is.
Yeah.
Actually, I was telling Joe, I'm studying for an exam right now. And in the exam, I was learning about research papers. Not that I don't know how to write them, but I just have to read all this stuff about, English literature. And in there is this whole thing about writing research papers. And there was a whole section on knowing your sources and what sources are allowed and what sources are not to be trusted, even though you may want to. And this is updated enough that it's like, different levels of academia. Like, so high school, I'm pretty sure they allow Wikipedia. I think we've talked about it. They allow Wikipedia as a source, right? Whereas, like, when we were younger, it's like, well, fucking Wikipedia was a joke. Like, you would never accept that as a source. Not as, like, a main source by any means. Not even as a secondary source at this point, because it's too manipulatable. But it's hilarious that at a high school level, it's acceptable. And it's like this whole thing about the validity of sources. And it's like, when I was doing my master's degrees, it's like, listen, if it's not in like a medical journal or some kind of academic journal or even like a government journal, then you're not trusting it. Like it needs to go through official channels of some kind. we'll see where we'll see where that goes. You know, as our sources become less and less reliable.
Yeah.
We're living in unreliable times, so we'll see.
That's true.
I had a funny experience I wanted to share with the class.
Mm-hmm.
I got to use an isolation tank recently, which I've never done before. And I was surprised at how enjoyable it was.
They have these into a Neanderthal and run around and.
No, I didn't. Unfortunately,
no, that's too bad.
No, my I got bored about halfway through, and I just started to like bob between one side of it. So this isn't like a tank. It's like a very, very small room. So like you kind of step through a door, and when you go in, and the room is very small with kind of a low vaulted ceiling. So you can only stand up on the one side of the room. Otherwise, like you'd have to crawl to the other side. And you're only in about 10 inches of water, but there's just so much saline that you float perfectly, and you don't touch the floor. And you can have the lights off, or you can have like dim lighting. I did dim lighting because, you know, I don't need to wrestle with those demons. Or turn into a Neanderthal. But it was interesting to me. I didn't think I was gonna. So I went to this place. It was I guess they call it a float spa. You know, I didn't think that I was gonna stay for the whole hour. You can only get like an hour, right? I thought that I was gonna be there for like half hour and be like, "Fuck, I'm done." But amazingly, I was there the whole time. And like I said, only about halfway through that I kind of like come to enough. I was like just bored enough that I found myself like popping between the one side of the room to the other very slowly with like my toes and my fingertips. But otherwise, I spent most of it in kind of like a weird, warm, relaxed calm. It's probably the most relaxed I've been in fucking years. And I was utterly surprised by it. I thought that it was going to be like a weird, you know, I mean, you know, you think of Altered States or Stranger Things when you think of like isolation tanks, right?
Sure.
But it was actually really nice. I was so loose when I got out of there. Like I was almost kind of like I was just thrown off from reality. I felt, yeah, I just felt good. Like it was weird. But I wanted to share it because if anyone had done it, right, and what their thoughts were on it, and if you haven't tried it, you should totally try it. I finished it. I immediately was telling my wife, like, you should try this. And my wife tried it, and she liked it a ton as well. Like, I think she liked it more than I did. Because I finally got bored, I think, right before. They have lights that come on at the end to let you know. And I got bored, and I got up right before the lights came on. Whereas my wife, she was in a zone, and she apparently went right through the lights. And then what happens is there's a filter that comes on, which is like the secondary sort of alarm to let you know that you're done. So she was there until the filters went off, and I was like, oh, so she were like really into it. But I thought it was great. I mean, especially in this day and age and the shit that's going on in the world, it was nice to have an isolation tank. I thought I was going to take all my negative shit in there with me. I really did. I thought that I was going to like just doom spiral or just fret or something. But no, I just fucking floated. Like, it was warm, it was fuzzy, it was like just hot enough, but not so hot that you're like dying, you know? And yeah, so that was my first weird experience in an isolation tank, and I think I'll do it again at some point. I'm not rushing to do it again, but at some point in the near future, I probably will, because it was psychologically helpful. And it completely, it like kind of completely derailed me from my day in the sense that like, I felt like I had gone away for a while, much longer than I think, you know, like, you know, physically I was there for like an hour, but mentally I felt like I was gone for like a week. Do you ever have that?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know,
the time warping thing. Sure. Not
yeah.
tank,
it was crazy.
Yes,
and I got out, and it was like still daytime, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I feel like I've been gone for the longest time.
Right.
So, man, just quickly, because I remember this and I wanted to tell you. I had a dream that I had to take an exam, and Elon Musk was my proctor.
Huh.
And then I had a family emergency, And I was like, I gotta go, man. I can't stay here. And the exam too, by the way, was all weird. Like I had studied for a certain type of exam, and he gave me this exam that looked nothing like it. And I was like, what the hell is this? And he's like, I'm freestyling the exam, man. What was the question he gave me? Yes, one of the questions was literally, the American presidents are coming up a building to kill you. The building has 30 floors, and you have 5 bullets. In what order do you shoot them at one floor?
All right.
Yep. So then I had a family emergency and I had to leave, and I was like, I can't take the test. And he was like, okay, but if you're going, on the way, he's like, drop off this blanket for me. And he gave me this like king size, ornate African sort of like comforter.
Wow, I'm surprised he didn't say, if you're not hardcore enough to stay and do this test, then I guess you're not enough for it.
No, listen,
Wow.
Dream Musk was insane.
Dream Musk
but,
was
but
not
insane,
as
but
insane
very
as real
friendly.
life.
No.
Wow.
At which point, it was just a weird dream. A lot of weird dreams lately, but that one was very strange. Last night I had a dream, and I totally blame Stranger Things for this, that I was working on a reality show with a bunch of teenagers, and that we were hunting and killing supernatural creatures, and that the fans got angry with me because we caught a do you know what a werewolf vampire is, right? It's called an abomination.
Yeah.
Okay, we caught an
I'm familiar
abomination.
with the concept, so
Yeah, so we caught an abomination, but we couldn't kill it. Like nothing we did, because when you're an abomination, from what I understand, it's like sometimes you have all the weaknesses, and sometimes you have like none of the weaknesses of the vampire or the werewolf. It's like a weird mutation thing. And we couldn't kill it, so I sank it to the bottom of a swimming pool with chains, so that every time it rejuvenated itself, it would just then drown again endlessly. And my whole thing was, as long as it's in the pool, it'll just rejuvenate and die. And they were like, but that's terrible. How could you do that to this creature? And in the dream, I was like, dude, it's a fucking monster. It's killed like 20 people. I was like, what the hell? And people were very annoyed with me. And the producers told me that they were going to take me off the reality monster hunting show because I had come up with such a diabolical and mean-spirited way to deal with this monster. Because monsters have rights too. So,
sure.
Weird dreams, man. Weird dreams. My brain is alight with oddity. But yes, the isolation tank was fun. I needed it. There's times in life. I don't know if you'll like it.
No, I don't think I would, but I have read. I mean, this is not new that there are lots of benefits. For
No. It's the first time I've really done it.
But I mean, it's one of those things where it's almost universally acknowledged to have a lot of different positive effects for a lot of people. But I don't think being stuck in isolation is for me.
Well, that's the thing, is my fear, which I'm sure is what your fear is that I was going to take something in there with me bad.
Oh no, that's not my fear. I just don't think I can be that still for that long like that.
I didn't think so either.
Stillness, quietness very much bothers me.
Well, this is the thing. So I will say this. They asked me if I wanted music.
Which is odd to me, because that feels like it's going to not... I mean, I guess it works.
And I said, well, what kind of music is this? And they were like, and they were like, it's very low tone music. Like, it could be, it's because basically it's being transferred through the water.
Okay.
And it's basically like some kind of like low... Not gamma wave. What is it? The wave that's supposed to...
Oh, yeah. I don't
theta
know
wave.
It's
theta wave. It's
yeah.
like low theta wave music or something like that.
Yeah.
And honestly,
it's
it just
to
sounds...
encourage brain activity or something.
Yeah, it sounded like generic massage parlor music is really what it sounded like. And honestly, I was grateful for it, because I think if I had been there in total silence, I think that my brain would have been like... I think having the rhythm there of some kind was just enough to kind of tie up my thought process. But honestly, like once you're in there for a while, because the music is so dull, you kind of lose it. The only reason like I even realized it was there, because at one point when I was playing my bouncy bounce game, I put my head directly above the speaker and realized the music was very loud when you float above the speaker.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the woman, when I came out, the woman gave me shit because she was like, "You didn't turn off the lights? You should turn off the lights next time." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not there yet." It's like, we'll see. Yeah. Like, I got demons, and like being scantily clad in warm, salty water in a dark room. Seems like exactly the place they would go for.
Sure.
So, yeah. Although, man, I saw...
I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of the evil it conceals. It's a great line.
You know that movie, The Ring?
Yeah. Ringu?
I saw The Ring porno the other day. That completely ruined the movie for me.
Was it the cock ring? I mean, what's the title?
Oh my! No, she comes out of the TV, and the guy's like, "Oh no!" And she's like, "Now you're mine." And then they just start having sex, and I'm like, "That's not a horror movie. Right. That's like sex delivery."
Yeah,
but it was like, but she's all done up to look like the girl from the television, and like, you know, because we have modern effects, it actually like it. It starts out creepy, and they have the effects from the movie and stuff like that. So at first it's like really creepy, but then all of a sudden it just turns into like, you know,
come on, show me your dick.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It just turns into you know, mysterious I don't know, horror blowjobs. Yeah.
Horror blowjobs. That's what I've been missing in my life. That's for sure. Horror themed blowjobs. That's it.
Oh, yeah, I know. Listen,
yeah.
I only really recently realized there's a whole market in like cosplay pornography. Like, I've known that there are parodies, but I didn't realize that there was like straight cosplay pornography. People who like go out of their way to make these elaborate costumes and then do like all kinds of weird porn, because it makes total sense that they're doing it because nerds love it. I love it. To see, like, you know, some girl dressed up as like some cool character with all the makeup and everything like that, and then have her do like, you know, sexy, dirty things. But it does kind of make it funny because you're like, now whenever I see The Ring, I'm just going to be like, is she going to give you a blowjob now? You know, it makes it...
You shut the fuck up!
It makes it so much less scary. Yeah. Anyway, I'd forgotten that.
I'm not linking to that in the show notes, everybody. You can go find that yourself.
There's things in my week that I pick up, and I'm like, oh, I should share this with Joe. And then, like, sometimes I forget them.
Oh,
but,
no. Oh, God.
What?
Hold on. What is... Do you know what the actual title is?
What, of the Ring
the
porno?
Ring porn thing, yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know what the actual title is. I saw a clip of it.
Hold on. Let me see. I'm just curious what the actual title is.
There might be more than one.
Because... Well, let's see. Sadako the Ring porn parody. Is that what it's supposed to be?
I don't remember. I don't. Like I said, I saw a clip of the scene, but I didn't see the actual whole thing.
I wonder if that's it. I mean, I'm trying to search for this, which the problem is, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there must be an IMDb. Wait, there has to be. There has to be an IMDb for porn, right?
Is there an IMDb for pornography?
There is. IAFD, the Internet Adult Film Database. Okay, so let me look up The Ring.
There you go. You learn something every day.
Let's see. I mean, actually, I'll tell you what. I like the design of this far better than the actual IMDb design these days. All right, let's take a look. Oh, God. I tried to look up The Ring. And boy, oh boy. I get okay, so what it's doing is it's taking those literal letters and it's searching for anything that contains them. So the first result is 1 fingering fun and 2 hard finger fucking. I mean, which technically does contain the and ring. The problem is it's not.
I'm also looking in different means, and holy shit!
Look up, okay, titles. Oh my God! 1 Ring, 12 loads of Xmas.
Oh man, that's not gonna work.
Agatha's A Gathering. I think that's one of the what do you call it? The Marvel series. I would have to guess. Okay, wait a minute. Oh God! All right, some of them have descriptions. Hold on. Maybe some of the descriptions were clearly by people just telling you what was in them. Almighty, no. Oh my God, there's so many. There's 50. All right, 50 entries. Okay. Oh, what? That's not a title. That's just a description. Let's see. First shoot, first pampering. I don't know what that means. I don't want to know what it means. 24/7/9, bringing it to the hoe. Okay. 3-hole tutoring for slutty French foreign exchange student. That's the title? Oh my God.
I have a picture, I think, of the sequence, but it doesn't say the name of the movie.
It doesn't say it? Okay.
And I'm not clicking on this link because it's not a good link.
Well, this is a very long road to a dumb joke. And the thing I was going to say was, because I'm guessing they didn't probably do this. The Ring in Japanese, the Japanese title is Ringu, Ringu. That's the title, which translates to The Ring. Well, if I was going to make a porn parody of The Ring, I would make it Ringu, except I replace the U with 2 O's. Ringu. And I would just do that. I mean, that's
worse.
Well, the thing is, nobody would know what you were talking about. You say, hey, I watched Ringu the other day. And they'd be like, oh, wow, the original Japanese movie. Yeah, it's really terrifying. I was like, oh, it was terrifying.
No, this one's far more terrifying, yeah.
I'll tell you what, when she came out of that TV, I was into it. And 2 people talking about the different movies would be looking at each other like, what are you talking about?
That? Jesus Christ.
This is
Nothing.
The problem. I've already closed the tab.
I just found a Lord of the Rings parody where they
Incidentally,
made
closing
Gollum.
the tab is probably a porn title.
They made Gollum into a woman. It's very frightening.
Gobbleum.
Goblin. I'm closing the link now. Okay. So anyway, yes, I thought it was very funny. I wanted to share that with the class.
Goblin and the Fisting Ship of the Ring. Anyway, okay. See, I could do the titles. Like if they came to me and wanted me to come up with punny titles, I could do it.
Who's your friend Len, who does all the movies? He has really great movie titles, but those movie titles could so easily be converted into like porn titles.
Oh sure. Well, I mean,
because they're that kind of like.
Almost anything can be changed into a porn title. It is the ones that are actually the toughest are single words, depending on what the words are. You know.
Yeah. Oddly, The Ring works as a porno and a straight movie. You know.
Oh, it does. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course it does. Yeah. I mean, realistically, there's an interesting. Wow, boy, I architected that one in my mind really quickly, but it could never happen. Almost like an Expendables of porn, where if you did The Ring porn parody and it was current porn stars watching the VHSs of older porn stars and then they came out to tell them why, you know, it was better in the days that I did it. And, you know, like shit like that where you were crossing over.
It's almost too high concept.
Oh, it's very meta. Yeah. I mean,
I saw the Justice League porno where was it Supergirl basically gets it on with Brainiac. And that was really weird. Like that was almost so high concept at times. I was watching it and I was like, it's kind of weird feeling I get from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I love it is when the costumes and the pornos are better than the actual costumes from the real movies.
And that is the one interesting thing is a lot of times they are better.
Because remember they tried to do a new Wonder Woman show and the outfit was terrible.
Well, there was one of the people who did outfits, and I don't remember the name or anything like this. It was just like one of these weird trivia side stories that I had to have read probably 7 or 8 years ago, where one of the people who did the costumes for porn parodies started selling them to just regular cosplayers for conventions and just didn't tell them what they normally did.
Oh, that's
They just
funny.
said, I'm very good at prop making. And they are,
funny.
but they realized if I say it's for adult films, it destroys my business. And so they basically had a public business that looked completely on the level with a different name, even the different name they went by. And then in the porn side, there was no website or anything. They were just known to do it.
It's funny, though, because sometimes the costume design of the actual movies and video games is so bad because we just played what was the Justice League, the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and the costume choices for the Justice League were really
90% awful. 90% awful.
But then when you see a lot of like the porn versions, you're like, this is better. Like, why is this better than this?
That's
so
why
much more
this
money.
person said they made more money at the convention stuff than the porn stuff, but they like doing whatever, so they just kept doing both.
Oh, yeah. And what it was is that the Wonder Woman show, the costume they did for her was so bad, and then they did a porn parody, and the Wonder Woman from the porno had a better costume.
I have no
and
trouble
you're like,
believing
that, you know, that shouldn't work like that.
No, it shouldn't, but I agree. I've seen some really impressive stuff.
I'm sure you have. That works on many levels.
No, yes, it does. But no, I just mean that there are actual, like I said, I read that article and I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me that, you know, there is often more care put into a porn version of a story than the actual one.
It's to some degree, it's restricted and yet unrestricted because like you're doing a porn parody. So it's like you're not really thinking too hard about the costume. But you also want the costume to be memorable across, like, a stream of fans. You know what I mean?
Well, it also helps that those budgets, they don't have to worry about special effects that are on the par of a Marvel film.
But now I kind of want to get in touch with somebody who does the costume work for one of these movies and ask them what the process is.
Well, I'm sure you could.
is it all them, or does like the producer have an idea? Like,
I seriously, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, because I don't have enough knowledge to say this as a general statement, but my hunch is that most porn producers don't care a bit whether the costume is good or not. They're concerned with the true meat of the scene.
So you think it's all the costume person?
I would say in most cases. Now, that doesn't rule out that there may be a porn producer who is a huge comics fan. That's possible and does care and will actually give notes to say that, when they do their Green Lantern parody, that ring was not worn by Kyle Rayner. That ring is this style. That's how we're going to do this.
We're going to do it right.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop the fucking. That ring is wrong.
Yeah. And it doesn't go there.
Or well, no. Actually.
Maybe it does go there.
Oh my God, that's the best way to do it. Is the ring goes to find him and it doesn't go on his finger, right? It goes somewhere else, and so it's easy for him to maintain his secret identity because he's always wearing the ring. You just never see it. And and the woman's the power battery, so he has to recharge every 24 hours.
Yeah, now you're just getting.
All right, I'm copywriting all of this now because I'm going to write this.
This is my terrible Green Lantern parody porno.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh. Yeah.
Jeez, I thought I had something else I was going to talk to you about, but man, this just totally blew whatever else was in my head on hold.
The Green Lantern. No, that wouldn't work. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I have to think about this now. I have to consider how that would work because that's actually a really good idea. That's a workable idea.
It's definitely something. And you know what? Listen, it's better than their weird Avatar porno.
That's what I'm saying. This is not bad.
The makeup they did on the people to make them look like the aliens. Some of it is just fucking scary.
The planet like you could do even that. There's so much. Wow, the Guardians will become the Hardians. Like it's so easy. It really is.
You know what's
easy
terrible?
Once you start doing
Actually,
it.
if you started drawing this as like a porn parody comic,
God,
you'd probably make so much money off of it. Because I've noticed that lately. I think we talked about this.
Somebody's done it.
Well, I know, but it's the whole thing where like you find an artist that you like who has a Patreon, and you're like, oh my God, I love your art, and then inevitably they start doing like more pornographic art because it just makes more money. And that's got to be heavy too, because so here's the thing: you have incredible artistic skill, right? And you have a Patreon and you make so much money, right? Yeah. But then it's like you do one risque image and you get so much attention for it, and you get all these like new members, and you're like, oh shit, this is what people want. And then you kind of have this balance now where it's like, well, how much of this art are you willing to do? And it's kind of a question of are you using this to pay your bills?
Yeah.
Or is you're doing it for your what?
I did a search for Green Lantern porn just curiously. These people have beat me to it in a number of ways. I didn't even get as far as the fact that they could make constructs. And
I mean, that's the whole thing right there.
Yeah. I mean, he does make giant fists,
One Green Lantern could make her own orgy.
Yeah, well, there's a lot featuring him and Green Arrow, which I guess makes sense. I didn't go that route, but because that's not my particular flavor of whatever. But it makes sense. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go.
I mean, Green Arrow hits his mark every time, so yeah. I'm just saying, it's fine.
You know what? Honestly, the problem with superhero pairings like that is trying to devise who's the bottom and who's the top.
Well, the couple that I looked at before I stopped and closed the tab, it seemed to be pretty equal, although I did see one that was very bondage focused, in particular with Green Lantern and Green Arrow both kind of bondaged up, which again isn't a route I would have
green leather. Is it all green leather though?
No. They're nude. Everything that is the constructs, so it's all the green restraints and everything. And there was a cock ring, so clearly somebody thought of it. Yeah, so there you go. Amazing. They're all very well endowed too. So.
Well, have you ever seen one of these pornographic drawings and thought to yourself, Jesus Christ, the skill on this is amazing?
Oh yeah,
We actually had that.
Oh sure. Yeah.
Remember when we saw the? It was the one
Thirst-tastic? Is that his name?
Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
Strider? The woman. What was the one with the multiple arms?
Spiral. Yes.
Spiral. Yes. Thirst-tastic. He did an image of Spiral. I remember we were looking at it, going, "This is like really good art." Like
It's
even
really good.
outside of and the thing is, like I do look in on that guy's art now and then, and he's really good. Like outside of his like pornographic stuff, like even when he just does his straight art, he's very good.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you kind of go, okay, is this just like how you make your extra money, or is it just, or do you just realize the world is depraved? And
No,
this is,
I would guess probably primary income. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I had the ability, that's what I would do. I wouldn't try to get into mainstream comics. If I could do that type of thing to that level, which I can't. I already know I can't. I couldn't do it fast enough. There you go. That's what she said. And I wouldn't be able to, and not to a quality level like somebody like. There's too many well-established people. But if I could, I would set up a completely anonymized ordering process so that I'll be like, whatever your kink, I don't care. I don't judge. I won't know.
You wouldn't stand by it like Coop.
No. I would have no problem with me being the artist, but I would make it completely anonymized for the requester so that they can ask for whatever they want. Because I think,
I got you.
Yeah, because somebody's not going to send something from their, I don't know, the Smith family of 4.com or at Gmail saying that, can you make me an illustration where, I don't know, the Hulk and the Abomination are double teaming me on top of a roller coaster. Right? Because, that's fine. I don't care.
Challenges, man. Challenges.
But I'm saying that somebody might not want that tracked back. So I would set it up where I'd be like, this is completely anonymized. Whatever you send me, I'll never know who you are, and I'll use whatever channels you want. You could say whatever you want, and I'll draw it. I don't care. And I would. It wouldn't matter to me. Except for like kids and stuff like that. Like nothing, no murders, rapes. That's I'm not doing any of that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, what is that Japanese animation that's all about like murder and torture?
Hentai?
No, it's not hentai. There's another name for it. Because I remember we discovered it and I was like, I can't look at this. It's so fucked up that it actually disturbs me. But it's not hentai.
Okay.
There's another name for it.
The only other Japanese thing I think I know is like bukkake, and that's it. I don't know if that's that.
Hold on.
I thought bukkake was just like endless ejaculations on women's faces, but I could be wrong about that. I'm so out of the porn game. I don't know what anything even means anymore. I mean, outside the basics, I know the meat and potatoes of porn. Anything past that is just. I'm sorry. I'm
what
well
is it
past
called? There's a name for it, and I have forgotten it now.
I'm sure there is. I just don't know.
Because I was so afraid of it. Is it Giboru? No. What is it called? There's a name for it, and it's like a. It's like it's not hentai.
Yeah, I think hentai is just normal Japanese porn. Just stick straight. Just pornography in general, I think, is what adult comics. I guess.
There's an anime, and like it's like elaborate, and it's all about.
Well, here, you know what? I bet you I can find out. Let's do this. So if I look at, let me do hentai.
Both of us are going to end up on a list now. Is what's going to happen.
I'm on so many lists at this point. All right, hentai disambiguation. All right, here, anime and manga pornography. Okay, so if I click that, I'll bet you it has the subdivisions of it.
What is it called? Yeah,
Whoa, that's hysterical.
Did we break you?
No. The different ways the term was used throughout history. So hentai has changed. It's changed its meaning. 1868 to 9. This is actually more fascinating than anything. 1868 to 1912. It was used to describe hysteria, which of course was kind of a sexual desire catch-all for a while. 1917's abnormal sexual desire. Of course, by the terms of the time. 1920s to 1930s, perverted sexuality, topics related to homosexual relationships. 1940s to 50s, perverted desires, homosexual relationships, still the major theme. 1960s, the term becomes heterosexualized.
And it's still called hentai.
Hentai, yes, but the definition changed. So primarily it was...
Guro. It's called fucking Guro. Jesus Christ.
How's it spelled?
G-U-R-O.
Oh, not G-O-R-U, because that was the Takashi Miike thing.
Oh, my God. I got to close this link. Jesus fuck.
Well, you got to it before me. So apparently originally hentai was basically a way to call somebody a deviant. It was deviant art.
God.
And then it did not become heterosexualized till the 60s. That's amazing.
Just everybody.
Nope.
As long as you're not at work or near your children.
Don't do
No,
it.
no. Go to Google
Yeah,
and type in Guro.
I'm not.
You should.
I won't.
It's not as bad
Will
as the
not.
image I saw.
I don't want to be on that list. I'm okay.
mean-
I'm okay with the hentai list.
Holy
I'm okay with that.
shit! I mean, this.
I
Yeah.
will not do it.
God. All right. So the word is Guro. So, yes. I don't even know how we got here, and now I've remembered Guro again. But yes, Guro is disturbing as fuck.
Good.
But somebody's
I'm not saying
making it, and somebody's making money off of it. So I think that's what it is. We're talking about pornographic art. That's what it was.
Somebody's making everything.
Woo!
Rule
Jesus Christ,
34.
that was like my eyeballs feel dirty. That was what that was. Yeah.
Mine
You know when you
don't,
find
and I
something
looked
that's
at
like so
hentai.
perverse?
Yeah.
Well, when you find something that's so perverse, you look at it and you go, this is deviousness. This feels devious.
Yeah.
And the envelope gets pushed as you get older because you see a lot of shit and you're like, bukkake, yeah, whatever. But then you get older and you know, there's stuff that doesn't show up in like you said, the meat and potatoes canal of porn. And then every now and then you see something and you're like, Jesus Christ, that is honestly, you know, perverse and fucked up. I give you that. Guro is honestly perverse and fucked up.
Meat and porntatoes, as it were.
Oh,
There you go.
you're adorable.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Hold
Jesus
on.
Christ.
That is now the show title. Meat and
Oh, my
porntatoes.
God.
Perfect.
Oh.
Yep. Also, we'll
I
not be
got-
linking that in the show notes, so you're on your own, everybody. I'm not doing
No.
Not
But I
doing
mean,
it.
that is, yeah, it's fucked up.
Nope.
Whoo. God, man, I mean, that's like, I'm tired now, just like trying to process that.
Well,
You know, and it's, you know what it is? I think Guro is like an extension of Hellraiser for me. You know, like the hell dimension, and everything is
Sure.
supposed to be like torture and terrible. I imagine that Pinhead would look at Guro. Like that's how I connect it in my head.
Do I look like someone who cares what God thinks?
No, but you look like somebody who looks up Guro.
it
There
would
you
have been
go.
great if I could like somehow substitute Goro in for God in that.
Oh, the answer is yes. Then yes, you do look like
Yeah,
somebody who
so-
looks. You got pins in your head. And
Yeah.
you're wearing bondage shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, okay. Let's
Uh-huh.
totally change the topic now. Ooh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to add
Yeah.
this.
Sure.
If my children are listening many, many years from now, when they're
God. Mm-hmm.
over 18, and I'm dead, probably, right? And they're listening to this, under no circumstances are you to go look up Guro.
Oh, well, that's definitely the way to not get them to do something. Well done. You know, I'm not a parent. I know that's the wrong way to do
Ooh, as your deceased parent, I'm advising you not to do this. Because you won't hear this until I'm dead. So, there you go.
it. You think?
That's going to be a weird thing for my kids, too. I just realized. Switching, you know.
What's that?
Oh, the idea that there's, how many shows of this?
This is 940, I believe.
There's 940 shows of the two of us
Yeah.
that my kids, when I'm gone, can listen to if they want to get a sense of what their dad was like when he wasn't around them. Remember the Kevin Smith thing where you always wondered what his father was like outside
Yeah.
of being his dad? Like, you
Yeah.
know, and there was a big joke about his dad trying to get his mom to have a threesome with one of their friends or some shit like that. You know, and it's like the whole idea of like, you know, the degree to which you know your parents, right? It's like I didn't know my dad very well. We had a complicated relationship. You know, you knew your dad and you liked your dad. I liked your dad, but I think your dad had a whole world away from you,
Oh, he did.
like most dads do. So for my kids to have 940 plus shows of you and me talking shit and getting a concept of what their dad's personality was like separate from them, that's a weird thing to leave your kids.
Well, the good news is, searching for your name, should they ever do it, you wouldn't get to the show until result 28, at least on my search.
Good. That's good. That's good. So when I try to be respectable, I have a little bit of coverage.
Now, I don't know what Google does. I don't use Google search, so you might want to try that.
Oh no, most of my writing shit comes up, but that's fine because that connection is now dead. So there's nothing there either.
Well, I'm curious. Let's take a look.
I think
see what-
you come up. My father comes up actually. I think.
Well, when I looked, it looked like it was you, but
Oh, some of
I
my
could be wrong.
Amazon stuff comes up.
let's take a look. Let's do a search
No,
here.
yeah, this is all my dad. The link tree
it's
is me
suggesting Orlando Bloom a lot. No, you're number one on mine. You are number one
for Yelp.
for author. Your link
no,
tree comes
on
up
mine
first
mine doesn't come up. Mine is
on Google search.
I come up. That's the third one for me. A link tree, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a Facebook for an Orlando brew?
There could
Holy
be.
shit! There's an Orlando brew on. There's two of them on Facebook. Holy shit!
Wow,
that's amazing.
I will tell you that your picture comes up right away.
Does it? Yes, I do. That's my author picture. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, both author pictures.
Yeah, but my father comes up as well.
Oh, I'm sure, but
yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. I can take one.
So, yeah, but the thing is, it's not me fisting a donkey. Is what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
No.
So.
I don't have that problem either. So we're good.
Like I said, kids, don't look up Guru.
I agree.
Yes.
I wouldn't even do it for the show.
Joe agrees.
Nope.
There you go. Joe didn't even want to look it up. And Joe's watched fucking Ichi the
I
Killer.
did not. I have watched it. I would advise watching Ichi the Killer before I'd look up Guru or whatever. Yes.
Yeah, but know what you're getting into. Yes. So, Joe made me watch a movie.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we actually did watch a movie.
Yeah. You know
Actually,
what?
I played the wrong sound clip. I should have played the 200-hour sound clip because that's more.
You know what?
fitting for
I still love that movie. I think I love that movie even more now as I've had more time to think about it.
See? No,
I did not think that Megapolis and I were going to have that kind of relationship.
Let me tell you something. When it becomes available to buy physically, which it will eventually,
Yeah.
I will buy it. I will buy
There's
it.
just something so endearing about that movie for me.
It's great.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not what we watched.
I loved it. No, we watched. For me, this was a second watch. I reviewed this movie a while ago.
Which honestly, I didn't know why you were watching it a second time. But then when I started catching things that you hadn't noticed, I was like, oh, there you go, I get it.
Because it's great, and I own it.
It is
and
really
I will.
good.
This is going to be one I'll watch probably every year or two because it's just that fun. So we rewatched the 1988 Australian film Sons of Steel, starring Rod Hartley as Black Alice.
By the way, did you look at pictures of what he looks like before he did the movie in his 80s band?
No, I didn't. No, hold on.
Oh, look him up. He's got a full head of hair.
Oh,
and,
so
like,
it was for this. Okay.
Tight shirts. Like I don't know if he did it for the movie, but before this, he looked like an 80s rocker.
Oh yeah, there he is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, he was always jacked.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. He was a big guy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean that's I'm sure.
I honestly-
hold on. I want to look at something. Where's the movie? Hold on. Where's the movie?
Well, while Joe's looking for something, I think this movie is worth watching alone for just the way that the main guy, Black Alice, articulates everything. Like his entire way of speaking is so over the top, and he never drops it. I really hope that it's just the way he talks in general, but it's this like totally over pronunciated, kind of oddly punctuated voice that he does. I was trying to do it for my wife earlier today because I was trying to explain to her how much I liked it, and I had her in stitches because I was just walking around the kitchen going, "I need to get some ice from the fridge," like that's the way he talks through the whole movie. Like even when he's giving like exposition to one of the other characters about what's going on with the time travel and stuff, he's still talking like that, and like that takes a lot of effort. And I know that they did it in voiceover.
Yeah,
it's all dubbed, but like I mean, there
is a making of on the Blu-ray, so I will watch that. But unfortunately, there's not a commentary. That's what I was kind of curious about. But there are a number of kind of behind the scenes. So there looks like there is a.
I want to see if he talks normal when he's not
also
doing the character.
There's an open gate version of the movie on here, which I didn't realize.
Which means
which
what?
is interesting. Well, that means generally if they're applying that meaning the same way, that's movies are shot. Movies are when you see a movie that is widescreen, it doesn't necessarily mean it was shot in widescreen. It was sometimes it's shot in a bigger format.
They lower the bars, right?
And they
Just
crop it in
look,
so you don't see everything. So that could potentially mean you'd see the top of sets, like the bottom of things, like you'd see more. Let me see. I'm trying to see if that's how they're using it in this particular film. Okay, Open Gate. Yeah, okay, so here it is. Open gate allows the camera to record the entirety of the sensor, so it's uncropped. Which means, in theory, you see things that, again, aren't meant to be seen. This happens a lot in TV. You'll see, before they widescreened it, you'll see, like, the boom mic and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I talked about with the version of Hellraiser that I watched.
Oh, yeah, you can see the boom mic on the
yes,
thing, yeah.
And somebody did, the one I linked to was somebody widescreened it. They realized it was open gate, and they cropped it so that it looks proper. So, I actually am curious how different it looks. Huh.
I really enjoyed this movie. I honestly didn't know why Joe was going to watch it again, and I think he did it mainly for me to get my reaction. But I laughed through most of this because the plot is thin, right?
Oh, it's thin. Yeah.
But the style and personality of it is so, it's like a heavy metal opera is really what it's like.
Yes.
There's the musical numbers are hilarious and very much of their date. And the main guy, Black Alice, like he got so much personality that like I didn't know what was going on half the time, but I was still enjoying it. I was still enjoying him. And they populate the movie with people who are also honestly, I'm trying to think who is the most normal person that he deals with in this movie.
Probably Hope. I mean, realistically, she's.
As I was thinking, but even she's like a
least.
weird kung fu scientist thing.
Yeah, but as far as
but
the
she
main
is probably the most
characters,
normal.
Yeah.
So if you hear the commentary, you'll hear me invoke many different movies and directors. Where there's a bit of Brazil in there, and there's a bit of what was it? There was another one that he was like, oh god, that feels like this now. And it feels like that. Like there's Terry Gilliam in there.
There was Brazil. There was
Monty Python. Like
yeah, I mean there's lots in there. We said several. I mean we have it recorded, so I'm trying to see. Here's the features.
I really did enjoy it though as a strange music opera sci-fi. I mean, if you try to have it make sense, then it doesn't work. But if you just go with the mad flow of it, I mean, like at one point you were saying that he carries an 8-ball through half the movie. And there's no reason for it. He just carries an 8-ball. And you kind of said, like, was that the actor or the director?
Ooh, interesting. So there is 30 minutes of them just showing behind the scenes footage where you're basically fly on the wall as they're doing it. That is interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
Like I said, I want to know if he talks like that all the time. Plus the doors. Joe didn't catch this, that when like they have these secure lock doors that you have to put a code in and you put your finger in.
Yeah.
When you put your finger in, the door goes, oh yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't hear it the first time. No, and I don't think I caught it the first time I watched. I think I was so mesmerized and kind of like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
No, that was a really fun flick, I gotta say.
Here we go. Part of the Australian premiere that they have on here. Cameras head to the theater to catch post-screen reactions, finding moviegoers coming out in a daze, trying to say nice things about the feature or even understand what happened. Yes, I can see that.
You know what? The nice things. I don't see why anyone would have trouble saying nice things about this movie. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, this was an MTV premiere. Now, I'm just saying, maybe it wasn't the right crowd. You don't know what...
Yeah.
If this was a bunch of, spring breakers, and MTV thought it'd be funny to throw them into this movie, I could see them coming out and be like, dude, I don't get it.
Was this an MTV opening?
Well, the Australian premiere was an MTV thing. MTV goes to the Australian premiere, which tells me they probably had people...
Interesting. Well,
I doubt they just without seeing
for
it.
The music,
it
makes sense.
If they just put it into a theater where like Bambi and other shit was playing, and the parents were just sick of they were like, well, the kids are watching, The Little Mermaid. Let's see what else is playing. All right, let's go watch this, I guess. Yeah, I could see those people having, and don't forget they cherry pick it. It could be that like 90% of the audience thought it was amazing, and MTV is like, well, that's boring. Who can we find that's weird?
I was never bored.
Get it?
I mean, I'll tell you that. Good things about this movie. I was never bored. I was endlessly amused. The fact that the one monster had like a 12-inch rubber dong for no reason, I thought that was hilarious. In that weird design. I mean, listen, there are times that you're like, what the fuck is going on? But I think if you're watching this movie for that, like, you're already kind of lost. It's like, no. And there's all these little shocking aspects. When we realized he was wearing the red boots the whole time... But you don't see them for the longest time. Then all of a sudden they pan down. You're like, man, those are some fucking boots you got on there. Yeah.
And he keeps them the whole movie.
Yeah, he does.
So,
Except,
good
doesn't
for
he
him.
take them off right at the end before he jumps into the
I
river?
think, yes. He strips down before he jumps off the pier. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
You had an
Otherwise,
interesting
he's got
point.
the whole time. The short that this was expanded into was shown before Dune. Boy, what about talk about the right audience? That's the right audience for it. Is show it before
Yeah,
Dune.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and remember, I mean, when we were watching it, I said to you, if I found that Rammstein was doing like a remake of this, it would make total sense to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Because this was a video, as you pointed out, this was a music video director who made this. So yeah,
yeah.
it
I
makes
mean, like
sense.
when he thinks he's dying, and he has this like black and white aside, where he's like he does like the dramatic heavy metal music, you know. It's just so funny. And the thing is, the movie isn't. There's movies that aim to be serious, and that's what makes them funny. And there's movies that are just blasting off at full speed. They don't care. They are serious at times, absurd at others, and you have a really good time just watching them. You know, like this is not a serious movie. I don't think anyone making it thought this is going to change the world. I think they were having a good time. Especially Black Alice, who is just chewing up the scenery at every moment he's on the screen.
Often obnoxious, but always unique. That's the perfect review.
Between him and the Doctor, who's the Doctor's name?
Spectre.
Sentry?
Well, it's not Spectre, it's Spectre, but I say Spectre.
Yeah, between him and the
SPECTA.
Doctor, I mean, the two of them dominate the film.
Well, they're in it the most, really. They're the
With
two
their
primary
madness.
people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah, I like one review. 5 hard stars. Yes. I mean, really,
Honestly,
that is so fitting.
I just wish I got like a brain injury where I talk like that all the time. You know, where I was like, "Come on, kids, it's time to have breakfast so we can go to school." Like,
Listen here, you shitbag. Yeah.
and the fact that every time he has a fantasy, it's usually him shooting somebody, or
Even
a
though
musical,
he says he's
or he's
against
against
violence.
yeah, or a
Yeah,
musical
he
sequence
constantly
where his
says it.
3 like ethereal backup singers appear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're great. His Greek chorus shows up.
yes, does yeah.
But as you said, the
Yeah.
thing is, the movie would not work without the intensity. It just would not work at all.
No,
It has
it's
to have
that
it.
over the topness that makes it fun.
And I would say that I don't know how many people could do the lead role.
Yeah,
And not
the thing is,
because I don't think they're
I'm
good
not
actors,
even-
but I think you can't be that good an actor to do this.
No, I think that's him.
Yeah,
I wonder-
you
yeah.
have to believe that you are like the front man for a band. You have to.
Oh
have
yeah,
that
and when
kind
he
of
and when he
intensity.
has his musical asides. I mean, he has all the '80s movie our music star like movements with like the arms and everything like that. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
the one scene where he gets rematerialized and he's gesticulating.
Oh, he's on the
in
pedestal.
The most stilted, weird way possible. It's great. Yeah, it's amazing.
Man.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a fun head injury to get where you just started talking like that.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
What
that's
do
why.
you
That's why
mean,
when you
little
watch
lady?
when you watch that kind of the extras, like the fly on the wall behind the scenes stuff, please tell me how he talks.
Oh,
I'm so
I will.
Curious.
I will make a priority
I
of that.
need
I didn't
to
realize how much
know.
was on here.
Yeah.
I really wish there was a commentary with him where he did it all in the Black Alice voice. I remember in this scene the
Yeah, and the thing
camera
is,
was really
when he
loud.
sings, it's like Judas Priest meets AC/DC.
Very much.
You know,
Yeah.
so if you're into that, then you love the music because he sings all of it with his
And
band.
I will say, by the way, the Blu-ray comes with the soundtrack, which I'm delighted with.
yeah,
And I have on my iTunes thing.
and him and his band were their band was named Black Alice after this, and they went on
Yes,
to
it
make
was.
more records.
Yep.
Yeah, they were called
think they
something
made
else
2
before
albums.
this, though.
Yeah. There was something else. They changed to this, and then I think they changed off it at some point, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only issue with this movie, and once you accept the fact that you know what it is that I really would have loved if he'd had multiple costume changes to see what kind of weird shit they would have put him in. Because he has the outfit in the beginning, and then he has the second outfit that slowly gets destroyed as the movie goes on. And I was just so hoping they were going to put him in some kind of other weird rock god outfit at some point, you know?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would guess that was probably a budget limitation.
Oh no, I know why. I get it, but it's the
But
one thing
I
for
agree.
me.
It's something where you think, oh, if you had all the money you wanted, what would you have done? Because it is well shot. I mean, it's got great visuals.
If I could magically change this movie, right? Like I could magically change it, add more plot, add more, just like, I don't know, magically AI or something like that. Mm-hmm. I would keep Black Alice's performance and everything about him, other than the outfits. I just wanted him to be in more crazy outfits throughout the movie. I would keep him exactly as he was. I might change things around him. Some of the supporting cast, some of the scenery, maybe. But like, he's great.
I don't think I'd change. I think if I could do anything, I probably would just. Would I do anything? I don't think I'd do anything. If I could, go back and give them the money to make the Vision, I'd do that. That's the only change I would make. I think this thing is. Yeah. It's so different that I don't know that trying to improve it actually improves it.
And the thing for me is this movie, oddly, I would do a double feature with this and Obsession. Because that movie we watched, Obsession with Virginia Hay, that is a music video director wanting to make a murder mystery as a music video. Right. And that's why it looks like a Duran Duran music video. Whereas this movie also looks like a music video. This is another kind of like music video looking movie.
Except they had a musician and they just did it.
If I could do like a weird triple feature. No, it doesn't really work actually now that I think about it. Because The Replacement Killers was always very music video. No,
that's too.
That guy is.
I get it, but it wouldn't. The tone's all off.
It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, is there any other movie like that, like other than these two, where it's like very clearly a music video?
Or it's very clearly a music video.
Yeah, the way it's directed, like first time movie.
I mean, the obvious one is like Rocky Horror, is in this vein where it's very theatrical.
Yeah.
But that feels more like a stage play as far as a music video.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's music video directors who did their first movies.
Voyage of the Rock Aliens, the one I reviewed, but you haven't seen that one. That's that one is structured like this. Grease, I guess. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm looking to see. Oh, interesting. 10 great debut films by music video directors. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
If it ever opens. Okay, so let's
But some of those are going to be big name people, not like this.
Yeah, probably. Okay, let's see. Electric Dreams, 1984. Have you seen that? I haven't seen that.
I have that on my Plex server, but have not watched yet, but we can watch it.
That's 1984 by Steve Barron.
All right, we'll keep that as a future. I'll note that. I know what my next suggestion is going to be.
When Miles gets a state-of-the-art personal computer, he ends up triggering artificial intelligence in the machine after spilling champagne in it.
Oh, no. I have it on my list for a reason.
Okay.
It sounds wacky. I think I'm pretty sure What's-Her-Face is in it.
Is Fincher's first movie. It
is, yeah. I think Kim Cattrall is in Electric Dreams. I'm pretty sure. I think it's her first movie.
I think it's Virginia. It's Virginia Hay. Not Virginia Hay. What's her name?
No.
What's her name? Who is the girl in Candyman?
Oh, okay. That's what I'm mixing it up. You're right. It's
what's her name?
Oh God.
Because I can't remember.
Virginia
Madsen. That's what it is. Virginia Madsen. Yeah. But Alien 3, which if you see the rough cut, is an incredible movie.
Yeah.
Belly.
Wasn't Spike Jonze? What do you call it, director?
Yeah, he was. I mean, there's movies in there I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
Virginia Belly by Hype Williams. Was that?
Belly. Oh, I saw that a long time ago. Very good, very stylish movie.
Oh, there you go. Being John Malkovich. That's a fucked up movie.
Is that Spike? Who is that?
That's Spike Jonze.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman, which is an unholy union right there.
Boy.
Sexy Beast. Jonathan Glazer. That was his first movie.
There you go.
And that is a very stylish looking movie. Constantine. Oh, interesting. Constantine was the first time director of Francis Lawrence.
Okay.
And he did music videos for Pink, Jennifer Lopez, Justin Timberlake, and Garbage. That's a Thumbsucker, which I haven't seen.
Nope.
2007 Control by Anton Corbijn.
What's it called?
Control. It's an 2007 movie by Anton Corbijn.
Control. Why do I know that movie? Hold on. Control 2007. It sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've heard of this movie. It's about the Joy Division guy. Yeah, I have no interest in that.
Okay.
This guy kills himself. I'm all right.
Let's see. Any good ones?
I knew I knew the name of it. That's why.
No, that's it. That's the list. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's mostly
Electric Dreams,
mainstream.
I've had that on my
Are you
to-do list.
going to suggest that we watch The Substance?
Nope. No. I'm going with something that I've been something I haven't seen. I've seen The Substance quite a few times now.
Okay.
I just did another show with Len on it. We just did a whole Substance.
Oh,
thing.
that's funny.
No, The Substance. I don't really have anything more to get out of that.
That's what I was
to be
going to
honest.
say. I didn't think you did.
No.
So then what?
No.
So you're not gonna tell me?
I'll tell you. It's
Okay,
a movie from 1993 called The Heroic Trio. Have you seen this?
Oh, shit, I don't know. That's an.
It's a martial arts film with 3 female leads. A tough woman with an invisible robe has stolen 18 babies for her powerful master. Two other tough women and cops try to stop her. Have you seen this?
No, that sounds fun. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it looks. I have heard of this movie for so long, and there's literally scenes in it that clearly John Carpenter lifted for, didn't lift that were lifted from John Carpenter, but like when you see these 3 jumping, it's clearly the 3 storms. And I think that's part of where it came from. I don't know. This is my guess. But listen to the leads. 2 of the leads, Michelle Yeoh and Maggie Chung, are 2 of the leads. Yes. This is loaded. And the fact that I've never seen this is sort of baffling to me.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, have you got anything
decision.
for the evening?
I do, actually, yes. I watched... Because I wasn't sure, if we were going to be able to watch a movie. But this is one of these rabbit holes that once in a while comes along and just takes me by complete surprise. So Konami announced that they are releasing a collection of the Gradius games, or Gradius, however you're supposed to say it. I mean, I've heard it said both ways. How do I like to say it? I'm going to say Gradius. No, Gradius. Gradius. I like Gradius better. So anyway, I've only played probably 2 or 3 of the Gradius games. I've played 3. I play 3 all the time. I will replay 3 for no reason because I can get through it. I just love the game. The soundtrack's amazing, the whole thing. I've played Gradius 5, which I'm not very good at because that one's pretty tough. And I played Gradius 1 a long time ago. I haven't played it in a long time. But they are what I would call like shmup lights. So they're not bullet hells where you literally have so many projectiles on the screen that you have to have the reflexes of a 14-year-old to be able to complete them. But they're not, but they do have some level of skill required.
You know what's terrible about that, right? So I'm 45, right? Mm-hmm. I can still cultivate the hand-eye coordination and speed of someone much younger than myself, right? I know this because like I play with my son, and my son is sometimes marveled at how fast I still move in first-person shooters, right? But the funny thing is the physical toll it actually takes on me, which is that like I can play like that, but when I play that speed, like I feel it through my whole body. And I think we talked about this because when we play we played one of the Left 4 Dead games and we had to stop because if I play games like I play Back 4 Blood, if I play a game like that late at night, I can't play it loose. I have to play it hard, and it just sets off my adrenaline, and I'm just like, yeah, fucking shoot everything, and then my body's like, we're not going to bed for a few hours, and it just sets me off. So like for a while, I think I have to mention this. Like I play Overwatch in the morning sometimes as like a pick me up. Like if the coffee's not kicking in, I do like 2 matches and I'm good to go. And it's because I just hype myself up to try to travel as fast as I can. And I know that I'm not as fast as I used to be. But based on like my winning streak and my numbers and everything like that, I'm still pretty damn fucking fast. But it takes such a toll. Like I guess this is aging, right? So it's amusing to me because we talk about some of these games and like, there was a game I used to play. What was the arcade game that used to be in the cafeteria in Hartford? Do you remember they had this one game in the
that wasn't the Tetris game, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was one where you're flying and then you kept getting like Oh god, you just kept getting
guess I don't.
updated guns, and you were flying through like different. It's a traditional like arcade game. What the hell was it?
Well,
I can't remember. What
it wasn't Galaga, right? Not the Galaga.
it wasn't
one.
Galaga. No, it was one of the ones where like
Or
the map rolls.
1942 or 1943.
Something like that, yeah. But I
That
used
was
to
the
go to
Plains
the
ones. I mean,
yeah,
there were
my
so
freshman
many.
year when I was kind of lonely, where I didn't really know a lot of people yet. I used to go and like drink some Jolt Cola and get all hyped up, and then go get my music going and get the techno going, listen to fucking Underworld, and then I would just blow through like $20 in quarters, just like endlessly playing this game. And it's like it's that kind of shit. Like I loved that shit growing up. So when you say stuff like the whole you need the reflexes of a 14-year-old, it's like I sometimes still wish I had that, but it's amazing that I'm as fast as I still am, but it takes such a toll. I don't know if you get that at all, because you and I are
and
such
what I was going to say is I
Yeah.
can do it as well, but I can't do it for games that I was never good at to begin with. I can't even come.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
so
I get what you mean.
so
Yeah.
Bullet hells,
if you were never good at
liked.
it in the first place, you're not going to be
Right.
better at it now.
There's no point. And that's the thing is I never liked bullet hells. I honestly have never understood the appeal of games. It's just me, where you're not shooting for a lot of it. You're just sitting there trying to dodge 80,000 bullets on the screen. I mean, I understand the kind of puzzle solving nature of it, but it was never for me. So
Yeah.
Gradius, the ones I played, always had this kind of middle ground where yes, there were times where if you weren't destroying enough ships, they will keep firing and you will eventually end up in that, but you've done that to yourself. If you're quick and you stay on top of them, it's generally manageable. And the only thing you really have to worry about is the boss kind of projectile stuff, which is again still manageable. And so when they announced this collection, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick this up because they're basically collecting 18 different games, like the original run of these games. And I
Yeah.
always
Hey,
liked these games. So
By the way, what was that
Yeah.
game that you played on the PS4 that was the planet that you would like fly around it, shooting all the stuff that appeared? Was that Starfield?
oh, no, it wasn't Starfield. It was, it was a packaged game. What was that? That was a PS.
Or was it a
hold on.
PS3 game?
It might have been PS3. Yeah, I know. It is
Yeah.
Star. No, it's a really
Star
good game. Hold on.
Yeah.
What is that? PS3.
It's one of these,
title.
and that's one of those endless. That honestly feels as close to a modern day arcade game as I could imagine.
Hold on, I'm looking right now. I think it was
Like-
PS3. No, it must
if
be
you're looking
PS4. No,
If
it
you're
must be
looking for that
PS4.
arcade vibe, I think it was called Starfield. But
No,
I can't
Starfield's the new
remember.
one. That's the new Bethesda one. Starfield is that new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I
is it
know you're mixing,
called?
but you're right. It is Star something. So I'm trying to look
Yeah,
right
but
now.
it's that kind of game though, where it's just like there's no story, there's no real plot. You're just doing stuff.
God, what was that game called? I cannot believe
I
I can't
know.
think of it. I played it for so long. PS3 launched. Maybe it was PS3. You could be right. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was. I think it was like, oh, here it is. Okay, I see the picture of it. Where's the name? I see the picture. They got the picture. Come on, give me the.
Give me the
Son
name.
of- Well, yeah, don't just show me a picture, man. You got
Son of a bitch.
Hold on, I gotta scroll. No. Fuck you. Come on. It was. Oh god, yeah, it was. Jesus. Okay, screw it. You're right that it's got Star. This is gonna be the whole rest of the fucking show. Where's Wiki? Wiki.
Yeah,
Wiki.
I'm not trying to derail you. It's just you're talking about
No.
this, and it
Now I'm
reminds me
curious
of this
because-
game.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. All right, this is the whole list, right? This is the entire list? Yeah, here it is. All right, so let me search for Find Star. Not 5-Star Wrestling. Not Angry Birds Star Wars. Not Castle of Illusion. Not Castle of Illusion. Seriously? Is it not called Star?
I thought it was Starfield or something like that, or Star.
Well, that's
something.
not coming up. Huh.
You know what?
I mean, they remastered the damn thing. I remember
We'll
it.
have it on our PS5s, won't we? In our library.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we'll find
Hold
it
on,
later.
let me do this. Hold on, there's one other thing I can do, which is go by the dates. Okay, here we go. Clive Barker's Jericho. Wow, I think it was PS4 though. I have the suspicion it's PS4. Let's check. So let me look at PS4. I just kind of remember that being in because it was so neat looking.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, here's M to Z. Let's go down. M's. Oh my God, this thing had so many games. There's no way these were launch titles, by the way, Wiki. You're kind of failing me here. All right, let's see. I mean, I'm sorry. They didn't have this many launch title games. I know that.
I cannot find it. I'm using all my little tricks.
Space. Hold on. Space. Let's keep going. Stanley, Stardew, Stardust. Stardust! That was it.
Stardust!
Yeah, it was Stardust. Hold on. Stardust. That sounds right. Super Stardust HD. That's it.
Yes,
and it was
Stardust.
PS3.
For you, it was Stardust. Yes,
Yep.
Stardust. So yes, Stardust to me
Super Stardust HD.
Feels like a modern arcade game. Like that's the kind of when
Absolutely.
I was playing games in like an arcade, this is what I wanted the future of arcade games to look like.
No, you're exactly right. That is very much an arcade. I mean, that's why it was like a bundled game. They gave it to you. It was free. I'm pretty sure.
And like it just
and
goes.
it showed
and
off
goes.
all the particle effects. I mean, it was
yeah.
a demo thing for the system, and it worked very well.
Yeah, and it just endlessly, and it got so complicated as you went further on, and you just like your nerves. I mean, you're talking about having the reflexes of a 14-year-old.
Right? No, definitely.
I should get my son into this game. He'd probably enjoy it. Drive him nuts.
It's a riot. It's a great game. It's a great game.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was looking at the Origins thing. And, then I started kind of wandering through the Gradius has its own wiki, and I was kind of looking at the games and seeing what was available and all the rest of it. And then I happened to see that it said other media, that there was an OVA made. And I thought, really? Of Gradius? Because honestly, for how often I've played this, I don't remember any story to it. I really don't. I mean, of course, there's always some kind of framework, but I couldn't have told you what the story, which has been a long-running story, apparently, for a long time in the game series. But the only real thing I could tell you about Gradius was, I know the name of the ship. It's the Vic Viper, which is one of the best ship names there's ever been. It's also an awesome ship design. But just the fact that it's called the fucking Vic Viper. And they use the Easter Island heads, the MOAs or Moai.
Oh,
they're in every game.
I used to love the cover to these games.
Yeah, they're great covers, but there's Moai in, as far as I know, almost every game, all the mainline ones anyway, that are inexplicably there. I never knew what the reason was. And now I sort of do, even though I think the movie is not considered canon anymore. They've kind of retroed it out.
So they did a Gradius movie.
They did an OVA, which is 3 hours long. It's 3 parts.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, I'll start watching this. This is probably junk because Konami sponsored it. So I'm like, okay, how good could this really be? Because video game anime are not generally all that good. At least they didn't used to be at this time period. I mean, even one of the more beloved ones like Street Fighter, it's more loved because of its cheesiness than its real quality. Now, today it's different. But when this thing was made, this is 1980, I want to say 8. I got to look. But when this thing was, and it's actually called Salamander, because that's the actual title of the original game. It's not Gradius, it's Salamander, referring to the dragons, because there's lots of dragons in it too, and I didn't know that was a thing. Like, this movie gets into the lore of this thing.
What year is it, 1981?
It might be. That could be 81. Yeah, if it's Salamander OVA, is it 81? That makes sense.
Okay, no, hold on, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah, look up Salamander OVA and see what the year is, because that's what it's called. Because I don't actually remember.
Salamander is an OVA miniseries created by Pony Canyon?
Sure.
Pony Canyon. Jesus.
That could be. It's 3 parts.
And Konami in 1988.
That's it. All right, 88.
Yeah.
So it is 88. Okay. So I started watching this, and, I wasn't expecting much. And so it opens up, and there's a planet called Latia, I think, maybe. Hold on, let me look up what the actual, if I'm going to say, I should know what the name is. I can't remember. The first one is Lattice. That's it. Yeah, Lattice. Or Lattice.
Yeah, Lattice. Yeah.
It's all Japanese.
I have the descriptions here of all 3 if you want. I found the wiki.
Oh, no. I know the stories. I just couldn't remember that planet's name because that's kind of a minor thing. Because honestly, the first one is... The quality is excellent throughout. I'll say that right off the bat. Like, the animation quality is much better than I expected, number one.
This is very... Oh, God, what does it look like? This is a style of anime.
Yeah, it's like Galaxy Express 1999 looking type stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. And I love this era of anime. This is my favorite period, is the 80s. This is the best time this is the best it ever looked, period, for me. So, and late 70s, but really the 80s. So it opens up, and it's, okay, there's a planet with Lord British, who is actually the second player in Salamander 2, which I don't think is Gradius 2, but there's a second ship that isn't the Vic Viper, and that ship is called the Lord British. But in this, Lord British is a person as opposed to the ship, and he has his ship, and they just call it Lord British's ship, but they made a character out of the person. Because in the games, you don't ever meet the pilots. I don't even know if their names are anywhere in they probably are in the manual, but you're not walking around as any of them, so you don't know who the person is. So they made Lord British into a character who has a red starfighter, so it matches the game. Like, everything matches the games.
Oh, the hair in this movie is fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. It's great top to bottom. So if you can, listen to the opening theme, because the whole thing is on YouTube for free. So scrub and listen to the opening theme, because the theme of this movie is so much better than you would think for an anime series based on a Konami video game. Like, this is high quality.
Hold on, I found it.
Yeah, where you just see like the scales of the lizard and stuff like that. Is that what's you seeing, like the shadows, the shadowy kind of
Hold on, I just got
spawns?
The shadows and the flames. Yeah,
All right, yeah. Listen,
I had to deal with an ad first, so.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah. We're gonna pause here and actually, I should have downloaded it. I should have grabbed it. Stupid that I didn't. I had time.
Oh yeah, dragons.
Yeah, but like it's a very kind of like Godzilla type of theme. It's like very.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, orchestral and big and kind of like almost fantasy epics, like da da. Like, it's got this really not what I expect.
Kind of reminds me of Krull, to be honest with you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Krull. Exactly. Right. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. With the scales.
It's getting like big and like it's a great theme. It's got a great opening theme.
This era of anime was.
Oh, it's magical.
There was something majestic about it.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good word. Majestic. That opening theme is very majestic and big and operatic, which makes sense because this is about this giant, all-consuming evil force in space, and it has this strange blend of being biomechanical and also mystical fire dragons.
Did you watch all three?
Combo. I did watch all three. They were excellent. I finished the third one like 4 or 5 hours ago.
Okay.
So, and then the ending song. That's another thing that shows and movies of this era, they usually had a bitchin' fucking ending song, and this one does too, where there's a singer and it's like a poppy kind of like what we consider like pop rock type of song, which I really like. And it's short and it's good. But so it starts out, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is a serious anime. This isn't a cash grab type of bullshit thing that they just cranked out on a weekend. And so I'm watching it, and like I said, the animation quality is very good. And so the first episode, it goes in a weird order, because the first episode the first episode is relatively, from what I read, having not played the original first Salamander game, which I will when the collection comes out, but it's roughly following that. Yeah.
Let's clear this up. So the games were called Gladius.
No. The games were called Salamander in Japan and Gradius when they came to America.
Oh, okay. So that's the original name before they translated it. Got it. Go on.
Correct. Now, as far as I understand, in both versions, the planet you were defending in the Vic Viper is Planet Gradius. That's why they switched it when it came to America. I guess because Salamander didn't make sense or something, which Salamander doesn't really make sense to me. I don't care, but it's one of those things where like Biohazard became Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil's a better name. Sorry, it is. I like the word Biohazard, but Resident Evil like conjures the idea of the game before
Resident
you
Evil
play.
Is ominous, yeah.
It is. Where like Salamander, what's Salamander? Am I shooting giant snakes? Well, only partially, whereas Gradius sounds like a futuristic space fighter, and that's what it's about. So again, I tend to like the American naming better, but that's, it's very minor changes between the two of them. So the first movie is on Planet Lattice, and Lord British is the kind of lord of the planet, and suddenly this black, like smoky gas starts enveloping the planet, and it starts converting very much in a Cronenberg style. Anywhere that the name of the enemy is the Bacterians, and anything the Bacterians put this gas onto converts it to organic material. So the planet starts converting into like the inside of a gut, where it's just all like intestines and spurting blood and just these pustules. And it's fucking gross. And it's great because you just see like the streets are converting into all this biomass and shit. And it's all like corrupted. and exploding and sick and evil and like nobody knows what to do. And then these three people show up, which is Dan, Stephanie, and Eddie. And they show up in their Vic Vipers. Now in this, and I don't know if this is the game or not really, in this, everybody on planet Gradius is flying a Vic Viper. There isn't one Vic Viper the way there is in the games. You're flying the Vic Viper. In the OVA, every ship from Gradius is a Vic Viper. They all look the same. They all have the same basic design, which is kind of this two-pronged fuselage thing. That's kind of the signature style. I mean, they're bitchin' fucking ships. They look great.
Honestly, it makes me think it's like the Mach 5 of the sky.
It is. Yes, that's exactly what it's like. That is look up Gradius 5 and look at the cover with that ship.
Okay.
It's the best design. I love that design.
Did they change? Did they change to the games?
The games. I mean, you mean the design of the ship?
Yeah.
They change it slightly. Sometimes it looks more like an F-18 grafted into it. Sometimes it looks more angular.
Oh yeah, so, I do like that. Yeah, this is the era of like Macross and that shit. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, the design changes in some ways, but it always has that those two big like prongs coming out. Like that's the cockpit in the center of two big prongs. You can get
a really cool model kit of it too. It looks good when you get it out of the game actually and just see it as like a static.
It's gorgeous.
Object.
Oh, it's great.
It's a beautiful ship.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite video game ship really that I've ever seen in terms of, I wish I could get a really good kind of metal replica of it, but it's, I don't build models, so I suppose I could pay somebody to build it and then send it to me, but I don't do that. So I'd rather just get a nice kind of like, serious model of it. But anyway, and a big one. I'd like a big one of these hanging from my ceiling. Not big like 15 feet long. I mean like 2 or 3 feet long. That'd be really nice. In any event. So these three show up, and immediately Lord British and Eddie seem to not like each other. And you don't really know why for much of the thing.
Is it the classic they have to learn to respect each other, or is there more?
No. Eddie was exiled because of the class system on the planet. So he was exiled, assuming that these subtitles are done correctly. This is a series that was released on VHS and Laserdisc and has never been revisited. So I don't know if the subtitling, because don't forget from this era, the subtitling wasn't always great. But as far as I could tell, based on the subtitles, and it lines up with the visuals, his family was seen as a lesser family and was exiled from the planet. So basically, once Lord British realizes that, he's like, fuck you. And then he's like, you know what? I don't want to make trouble. I'm just going to leave, and you can handle this on your own. And he leaves, except he doesn't really. And so he leaves, and Dan and Stephanie stay, and they're like, all right, we've dealt with this before. We will help you. And Lord British is like, all right, but I'm not going to let you do this on your own. I have my own fighter. Let's go. Let's get him. And they start to fight the Bacterian cloud that's on Lattice, and they're starting to lose, and things are going wrong when Eddie shows up and basically suicides himself to blow up the main ship and stops the Bacterians, they think. And so then Lord British says, okay, well, I'm going to make sure that Eddie's family goes down as, heroes of the planet, and we were wrong to exile him. Like, it's Eddie's redemption story type of thing. And so that's the first episode. So basically introducing you to the world and these characters. Then the second episode, which is my favorite, really, of the three. I like 2, 3, and then 1 in terms of quality. Because 2 is actually a prequel. We're going before the events of the first episode, and we're seeing these three really kind of figure out what the Bacterian are. But they go much more into a horror mode with the second episode, where they're really emphasizing the kind of, like when you get transformed, it's almost like an alien thing, because the very opening is Stephanie's father is on the ship, and they're the president. He was the president of Gradius, and they were going around. They were kind of meeting other planets and getting peace treaties and all this stuff. And then they suddenly get enveloped in the cloud, and they become transformed. Particularly her father is morphed into the cyber brain that's controlling the Bacterian in the system. And so when they finally find him, he's just this amorphous mass, and he's like, yeah, there's barely anything to be left. You have to kill me, because once my personality becomes subsumed by the cyber brain, I'm just going to kill all of you. But you don't know that for a while, but you're seeing all the inside, like, because when they go inside, like, oh, it looks like a machine from the outside, but when you go inside, it's all organic, and again, it's like the inside of like a body, and it's all just depicted with this very ominous music, and it's very Cronenberg coded, which I like, and it just feels much more threatening and gross and even from the first one, because the first one you see that happening, but it's a small part of it. This is mostly that, where you're really seeing the mechanisms of it.
I wonder if the Mass Effect people watch this.
Possibly. It could be. I don't know. Because, there's stuff in here that I feel like I see in other things. But as far as I understand, all of this is from the Gradius series, which the first Gradius game is from... Let's take a look. The first game was 1985. So it's very possible that these are just kind of like permeated elements of this stuff. Because Gradius has been around for a long time. And like I said, 1985 was the first one, and Gradius, what was the last game? The last game was 5 was 2004. So that's 20 years, right? So it's not a new thing. So it's very possible people. I mean, I'm not the only person who knows Gradius the games. I'm sure many people played them and grew up with them. So sure, it's very possible. And I really wish this was available on a Blu-ray, because I'd buy it in a heartbeat. It's so well made. But yeah, the second one is much more horror, and we get the thing where this woman shows up. So it starts off where, again, the father's ship gets blown up, and then the only survivor they find is this woman who they isolate because they don't know where she's from. And so because she's been exposed to the gas, the three of them are sent. They find this derelict ship, very alien type of thing, where they cut a door, they come in, there's all these bodies, they don't look like human bodies, and then they find one woman who appears to be a humanoid, and they basically take her back. And because they were exposed, they're also in quarantine, all in like separate rooms, but Eddie is, Dan and Stephanie, especially Dan, is very kind of suspicious of this woman, because he's like, why is she the only survivor? And Eddie, because nobody else knows that Eddie is actually not Gradian. He's from Lattice and was exiled, but he's ashamed of it because his family was basically exiled out. So he doesn't tell anybody. So Eddie is more sympathetic towards her because because they refer to her people as boat people, because they basically their planet was destroyed by the Bacterians and they had to escape. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So because he's exiled, he has this sympathy. Like when he goes to meet with her, she has some kind of psychic power where she can sense things. And she says, oh, I know why you're not suspicious, because you're not of the same race. And he immediately is denying it. He's like, no, I'm from Gradius. No, I don't know what you're picking up, but that's wrong. I'm just like everybody else. My father's buried here. He's saying all these things that are covering. They're not specifically lies, really, but they're not true either. And so Dan and Stephanie decide to go after... Well, they join the military force that's going after the Bacterian cloud. They want to stop it from reaching Gradius. Eddie decides to stay behind, and he takes the girl because she says there's a controller here on Gradius that's helping the cloud. If you don't destroy that, there's no point in going out into space and destroying it. So he splits off with her, and because he's been demoted because he discovered that some kind of vulnerability, but he broke formation to do it, and their military is very strict. So the fact that he broke formation, even though he did discover a key weakness, like the guy who demotes him says, I'm not happy about this, but we have to have regulations for a reason. I have to demote you. You cannot go into space. And so he's staying behind, and he goes with the girl to try to locate this controller, because she says, I can sense roughly where it is, and the closer we get, the more I'll be able to pinpoint it. So he's like, all right, well, I can't go with them anyway. Let's go. And they're kind of talking and going back and forth, and he's sort of alluding to the fact that, he's not from Gradius, but he's not saying it yet. And so they find the controller right about the time that the military force gets to the cloud. And they're engaging, and it's a big kind of Return of the Jedi battle. There's ships everywhere, all this shit's happening. And then Lord British, who has shown up to... not Lord British, that's the third one. Stephanie and Dan... They get into the cloud. They go inside of it, and they're kind of navigating their way through, I think they call it Fortress Zelos, which I believe is one of the enemies from one of the Gradius games. And they're kind of navigating through it, and Stephanie has been hearing psychic messages from her father telling her where to go. Like, here's how you dodge the fire. Go this way, go this way, go this way. And Dan is like, what are you doing? And she won't tell him, but he's sticking with her out of loyalty. So he guides them to where he is, and that's when they find he's a cyber brain. And right about the time they find that... On the planet, they get to this controller, and the controller is a Moai head. It's one of the Easter Island heads. And so when they get to it, Paula starts saying, oh, it's trying to repel me. And she's like, you have to destroy it or it's gonna kill me. And this is the controller. So Eddie blows it up, and when he does, Paula starts cackling and laughing and saying, "Good, you helped me out," because she's secretly one of these fire demons, the fire dragon thing. And she's like, and he's like,
Is that good or bad?
"Oh, it's bad." And she says,
Okay.
"I knew that you would be sympathetic toward me the way the others weren't because you're not from here. So I knew that you would default to giving me the benefit of the doubt because you were exiled." And that's how, because he's like, "Well, how did you know I was going to help you?" And she's like, "Because you're a sucker. I could tell based on the fact that you're not from here that you were going to be sympathetic for me, and I played on it." And so then she turns into a fire dragon and says, "I'm not going to kill you because you're all going to die anyway, so see you later." And she kind of, fire serpents off into the sky. And he like takes out this locket and he says, "I was exiled here." And he says, racism exists everywhere, so I thought you and I would be able to understand each other. And he's like devastated by the fact that she turned on him. So we get a little soap opera, as you typically do in these things. And meanwhile, luckily, Stephanie and Dan get to the cyber brain, and the father says, "I'm going to hold my control just long enough for you to kill me." And they blow up the cyber brain, which kills the local version of the bacterium. So the cloud dissipates, and everybody's happy because they think that's the final force. But in fact, no. In episode 3, some amount of time has passed. So now this is a direct sequel to 2. And now, like, Lord British is, like, ruler of Lattice, where before he was the prince. Now he's the actual kind of king. Dan and Stephanie have been promoted. Stephanie is a very by-the-book commander, to the fact where people joke about maybe if the bacterium ever came back, she should get killed because she's so hard on us. Like, she's a very hardliner as far as the military code. And, Eddie is obviously dead because he died in the first one, and this is the sequel to that.
Oh, so he didn't come back. Okay.
No, he actually dies in the first one. He does kill himself saving them, and now he's just remembered as being, this great hero. And Lord British has a thing for Stephanie, and, Dan's like, "Jesus Christ, just tell her you like her, man. Come on already, come on." And so they're on the planet to celebrate the peace treaty being signed between Lattice and Gradius, which they've had this contentious past. And there's a solar eclipse, which was planned, but then a second sun suddenly appears, and that was unplanned, because Lord British says, "Oh, I didn't know Gradius had 2 suns," and Dan's like, "No, it doesn't. Something's wrong." And the second sun is an artificial sun that the Bacterians have generated that they exit via a sunspot that they control. So inside the sun, there's a cold core, and that's where they exist. And they use the sun as like a planetary defense shield.
I like that. I like that there's a cold core. I like that.
Yeah. But that's the thing, because nobody can get close to it because the sun is so hot. But since they control the black hole sunspot or whatever, since they can open it up, that's how they get in and out. And so the minute that they're under threat, they retreat into the sun, and nothing can penetrate it. Not even the barriers that these ships had, which give them a defense against the cloud. It stops the cloud from converting anything for about an hour, but the sun melts it right off, so they can't do anything. So they figure out. So then Stephanie is abducted and taken inside the sun. And they basically say, then the woman from the second one, the one who was lying, reappears.
The dragon.
The dragon lady becomes a lady again. And Stephanie's like, "Why did you kidnap me?" And she said, "Well, we realized when we got your father that you are particularly well suited to convert into a cyber brain. But this time we're going to make you into the cyber controller for everything because you have the traits that we need." And so, of course, Lord British and Dan are like, no, we can't have that happen. And so they basically lead this daring raid into the sun. And, the ending of it is pretty standard stuff where everybody's fighting, and they manage to sneak into the ship. And, of course, they save Stephanie, and they manage to blow up this thing called Gopher, which is a thing from the games. It's like this almost Brainiac type of creature where it's a big head. But in this version, unlike the games where he's his own villain, he's just one of the big villains. In fact, I think he's supposed to be the mastermind of the whole thing. Although that seems to vary from game to game. So, it's a little loose. In this, he's basically like a not completed creature. And when Stephanie becomes the cyber brain, they'll implant her into Gopher to make a complete cyber controller. So that's the thing is, the father was a cyber brain, but they didn't have Gopher, or didn't seem to have Gopher at that point. This time they've developed this container mind to put the brain into that will be better to control things. But of course, Dan and Lord British come and they rescue her and they blow everything up. And, they seemingly again have destroyed the Bacterians for all time. And then it ends and, hey, everybody won. And that's the end of it. But it's really good. It's an exceptionally well done anime.
Far more thought out than a usual computer game.
Not only that,
show is.
the visuals are at times outstanding. I mean, there's some, it's not Akira level animation. There are points where, you see a little bit of kind of details get a little washy here and there. But the main enemy designs, although they clearly just use Godzilla's roar for the dragons. Like, it's Godzilla's roar, except they cut off the very end. It's so obvious. You hear it so many times, you're like, that's fucking Godzilla. They even have, like, atomic breath. So I think that was intentional. It's just funny. But the way that they do all the bioorganic conversions and how, like, just... everything looks painful. All the organic stuff looks painful and malignant and like cancer-like, and it's just overrunning everything. And it's done so well that there's this immediate, like I said, especially in the second one, you just see like people being completely consumed by it. You see ships just getting melted and shit. Like they never really show, it never gets graphic. In Death and Destruction, like, you don't see bodies, like, melting off the bones. It's, you don't ever see anything to that level. But you understand the horror of what's happening. Because I think Konami probably told them, hey, we have to sell video games. So there's no sex. There's no The closest they come to nudity is when the woman transforms into the dragon. She becomes a mannequin body for a minute. Like, there's no detail. Probably because Konami stepped in and said, you can only do so much here because we're tying this to our well-known video game series, right? So we can't have, especially at that time, I think Nintendo was still not allowing anything of an adult nature on their consoles. So I'm sure Konami was like, we have to be careful what we show. So it only goes so far, but I think that works for it because instead of doing literal gore and horrible stuff to bodies, it's all through this organic kind of transformation thing, which is actually worse. You do see bodies that are like melted into things, like stuff like there is that stuff, but it's not as. I think if they just shown bodies melting as opposed to doing this bigger scale kind of bioorganic transformation, I think it would have been less effective. So I think the restraint worked. Or
they
just
did as much as they
way.
could within the confines of what they were allowed.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know enough of the background of how it was developed to know, but it's really good, and it's all on YouTube to watch for free. And you can download it from archive, but you can just watch it on YouTube. That's where I watched it. I mean, the only problem is it looks like it's probably sourced off of a VHS. So the quality, it's not bad. It's the audio and everything is fine. But I sit here and go, boy, I wish somebody would release a high quality version of this because it's really good. I was shocked at how much better this was than I expected for a goddamn Gradius anime. For something that I only knew was kind of a fun, silly game that I never even really knew had a story. But it's very good. And I would say if you have, it's 3 fucking hours long, and I tell you, it blows by. There were points where I'm like, how far am I into this? And I'm like, there's only 10 minutes left of this shit. What the hell's going to happen?
I'm clicking through episode 2, and it looks good. I mean, this is that era, good. Like we said.
Yeah. And like I said, it's serious. It's not goofy. There's very little humor, which I like because it doesn't get silly. It doesn't. A lot of these animated things would often have a joke character hanging around who was supposed to be the goofy kind of overweight sidekick. Generally, they were overweight. Yeah. There's none of that. This is all taken like serious.
Yeah, Macross
sci-fi.
had that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was okay in Macross. Macross knew how to handle it, but something like this, this feels like it's supposed to be very serious. The goofiest it gets is when Lord British can't tell Stephanie that he likes her. And Dan's like, Jesus Christ, man, just tell her you want to go out on a date already. But even that, the humor is that...
You know what? Yeah. It's funny you should bring that up. So we finished the Firefly series, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we watched the movie, Serenity.
All right.
And there's that first part in the movie where he calls, or Inara calls him, and it's the operative using her as bait. And they're trying to talk, and my daughter looked over at me and goes, "Why are they so awkward talking to each other?" And I was like, "Because they like each other." And she's like, "Why can't they just say that and get it over with?" I'm like, "That's not how it works." It's like, it can if you are that type of person. I was like, but not for these two.
Right.
So, yeah, I just thought that was funny. Yes, the awkwardness, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, very well made. Very good storytelling.
It looks great. Like the visuals of it look great. It looks very well put together. It does not at all, but the thing is, you got to remember the origin of this is that this isn't an American thing. This is an anime based off of a Japanese product that they made for the Japanese market. Right?
Oh no, I understand, but there have been others of that are not good.
As good. I mean,
yeah, like I said, like the Street Fighter movie is the modern ones are generally much better. Like you watched Arcane, right? Arcane.
Yes,
Arcane's a lot of people
amazing.
like the cyberpunk anime. I watched that. I didn't like it, but I understand why people like it. That's fine.
Was
but
it Edge Runner?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, there's going to be like a second season, I think, of it. But if you look at lists of, okay, what are the best video game animes, they're mostly modern. I mean, almost overwhelmingly, any top whatever list. Like,
but they also say, in the wiki I read about it really quickly, they said that they took a lot of liberties with the story to make it work for them.
And that's why it's not canon anymore. So, yes, because the video games... You know, again, I didn't even realize there was a story. My guess is most people didn't care. That's not what it was about. But I think that what the changes they made are very good. And it suits the tone. They basically made a very good anime out of what was probably a somewhat disconnected. Because like I said, I can't even... There's disagreement on who the main enemy of this entire series is. And yet they are all supposed to be connected. So that tells you, and that makes sense, you know, games aren't always necessarily concerned with canon. You know what I mean? So...
Well, no, it's gameplay. Listen,
yeah.
I will put gameplay over canon.
And that's what I think, especially early days like NES and stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't have cutscenes. You didn't have the luxury of all these great graphics to do this. You were telling things with 8 bits, right? So it wasn't, you know... I mean, I'm sure that the Easter Island heads weren't really thought out. They were just like, those look cool, put them in there. All right, fine. But like I said, you look at the list of anime based on video games, and generally the ones of quality are far more modern. From this time period, they were either goofy, not very good. There's some really shitty ones around that are just junk animation that you can't even watch. But this is an exception. This is, I think, a well-done science fiction story with some kind of space opera vibes to it. It has, like we said, the Galaxy Express 1999 look, which I like. It's well acted as far as I can tell from the voice. They're all in Japanese, but it doesn't sound goofy. And I like the story. And I actually don't mind that it's told out of order. So I think that's because, you get Eddie's back. It's more about Eddie's backstory for that second episode, but also because I think the second episode is really emphasizing why the Bacterian are so terrifying. In the first one, they show up and everything just starts going to shit immediately, and nobody knows what they are really until Dan, Stephanie, and Eddie show up, and they're like, "No, you can't fuck around with this. This is bad news. Like, these are evil entities, and they will destroy everything. So we have to stop them." And then the second one is really showing you why they're so feared. You know, they're basically the nothing from the never-ending story type of thing. And then the third movie is basically wrapping everything up and
they're basically the meat Borg.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, too, that the idea that everything outside, when you look at them from the outside, they look like standard ships. When you get inside, it's all organic. So it's like crunchy on the outside, chewy on the inside. It's just that concept.
Yeah.
But like I said, animations, even in the state that it is online, I would absolutely
it still
recommend
looks good.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still looks good. The sound quality's good. The one I watched on YouTube, there weren't any major problems as far as, like, it doesn't suddenly, start getting weird and tracking errors or anything. So whoever uploaded it did as good a job, I think, as they can. I would hope at some point they'll remaster it, because I would love to see this in, like, a 4K. Even 1080 would be great if they actually and updated the subtitles.
Listen, if you want it, there's got to be an otaku out there somewhere who's doing it.
I'll look around, because the only thing that you're going to have to put up with here and there is there's some glaring spelling issues here and there and some really weird grammar, but it's far less than I expected. Because again, at this era, there wasn't people doing subtitles were not exactly
translation is tough to get it right.
And especially then, it wasn't. Yeah. I don't know how much U.S. demand for the Gradius anime there was in 1988. I mean, Akira just had landed. So we were really still 2 or 3 years from the big surge of American adoption of anime at that point.
Yeah, it was trickling. It was slowly trickling over.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell and Akira really blew the doors open, but that's 1988. That's around that time.
Didn't Macross come over before that?
Yes, but Macross was Robotech, and it was still seen as like kid stuff. It was like, oh, toys. toy ships.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I love
because
Robotech.
from my understanding, when Macross was brought over, they cut a lot of the adult stuff out. And they Disneyfied it, I think, when it first ran.
Did they?
Yeah, I mean, it was still.
And the problem is, I don't remember because I've watched all of it now. In
that's what I'm saying. I at the time, I think it was much different. I think it was a lot shorter, and there were giant things taken out, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, it really goes to show and Akira were the adult animes that kind of brought America into it. So at this point, would Gradius have been known? Probably not. Probably not. But it did get a Laserdisc, so I'm sure they could remaster this. Maybe they will because they're doing all this Gradius stuff now. Maybe that'll kind of resurface interest. I hope so, but if not, go watch it for free. You can download it from archive. You can watch it on YouTube, and I would absolutely say, if you're at even a minor, I wouldn't consider myself a big Gradius fan because I haven't played most of the games. Honestly,
you know what?
I just like the games I like.
Good anime for free, right there. That's all you need to say.
Yeah. So it's out there.
Actually, 3 hours.
Of
well
of
done
good anime. Yeah.
You don't even need to give a shit about the game. Just watch it for what it is. It's a good anime.
And the other thing is, because like Megazone 23, the quality changes radically between like the first and second episode. This is all consistent. It looks like it was probably the same studio the whole way through. So everything looks consistent. As far as I can tell, it's all the same voice actors. So that's also a big plus, is you don't have a radical change in quality level or style. Because even like with something modern like Uzumaki, you go from episode 1 to 2 and there's a drop off in quality that didn't bother me, but a lot of people noticed it and it bothered a lot of people. And that's a brand new one from like last year. So this is a very well done, consistent anime that, yes, you can watch for free. And it's 3 quality hours of 80s Galaxy Express 1999 style anime. So if that's what you're into, which I am, you'll have a good time with this one. And that's it. I don't think even with the opening and closing, we're going to hit 2 hours. So I'm not even going to play. You know, I'll play the bumper because we watched Sons of Steel. Screw it.
200 hours later.
Accurate or not, who cares? That level of delivery is the entire film if you've never seen it. So go watch that too. And I think that's it. So on that note, everybody, thanks for being here. And go watch some free anime that's really good. And if you can watch Sons of Steel, you absolutely should. On that note, have a wonderful weekend, whatever you choose to do, and we'll talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @OzoneNightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.